You freeze in a room you know is empty. A pipe clicks behind you. A shadow resembles a standing person. Why do you feel watched when nobody is there? You turn, but the doorway is empty. Nothing visible moved, yet your muscles prepared for another person. That feeling is not proof of a watcher, and it does not reveal a mysterious extra sense. The obvious answer is that you detected someone before seeing them. But your brain can trigger a warning without detecting anyone. It receives scraps of information before their causes become clear. One click arrives, one blurred edge shifts, and one familiar outline appears in the darkness. Your brain quickly guesses what could connect them. In 1944, Fritz Heider and Heider Simmel demonstrated this guessing process. They showed viewers simple shapes moving across a screen. The shapes had no faces, voices, or written names, yet viewers described personalities and intentions behind their movements. A large triangle became a bully, while smaller shapes seemed to hide, fight, help, and escape. Those social actions existed in the viewer's interpretations, not the shapes. Your brain also searches for possible intentions inside uncertain sights and sounds. A rough outline can suggest a person before you identify the object. The feeling can move your body before certainty arrives. But why does such weak evidence feel so convincing? The first problem begins at the edge of your sight. Your eyes do not record every part of a room equally clearly. The center of your gaze captures the detail needed for identification. Farther toward the edges, shapes become rougher and details blend together. This less detailed outer area is called peripheral vision. You can test its limits right now, so choose a nearby object sitting off to one side. Keep looking ahead without turning your eyes toward it, and you may notice its position, size, and general shape. However, a small feature becomes surprisingly difficult to identify. Now look directly at it, and the missing detail arrives almost immediately. That difference matters when something shifts beside you. A moving curtain can register as motion before becoming recognizable fabric. A tall shadow may suggest a body without revealing its source. Peripheral vision resembles a distant security image, so it can flag movement without clearly identifying the visitor. You turn because direct sight replaces the rough warning with better information. Your eyes therefore explain why the first image feels uncertain. They do not explain why uncertainty begins to feel threatening. Something else decides how quickly an uncertain clue deserves action. Imagine a smoke alarm screaming because your toast burns. The alarm reacts before it knows whether flames are spreading. A false alarm costs an interruption, but missing a real fire could cost far more. Those two mistakes do not carry equal immediate costs. For one dramatic minute, burnt toast becomes the house's main character. Your brain faces a similar choice when the evidence remains weak. It must separate meaningful signals from ordinary background noise. Scientists call this decision process signal detection theory. In 1966, David Green and John Sweats formally described how it works. They showed that uncertain decisions depend partly on a chosen threshold. A threshold is the evidence required before you take action. Set it high, and you avoid many harmless false alarms. However, you may also overlook a faint real signal. Set it lower, and you check sooner and make more mistakes. Now, an unexplained scrape crosses the room, but treating it as harmless saves one turn of your head. Ignoring an actual intruder could carry a much greater cost. Your brain may therefore choose inspection before certainty. The sound arrives, and your attention snaps toward it. Your shoulders brace before you fully identify the source, and then the thought becomes clear. Someone may be there. That thought does not prove anyone is present, and it only means the clue crossed your checking threshold. The warning can redirect you usefully while misreading its cause. It can be useful and wrong, but that threshold does not stay fixed. So what makes the same room feel different tonight? Turn off the lamp, and your familiar room loses detail. Ordinary objects become outlines against the darkness, so you need longer to identify what you are seeing. Your condition can also change how quickly the warning fires. During stress, your attention may become easier to interrupt. A single floorboard snap pulls you away from everything else. You stop, listen, and search for another sound. Fatigue can make that first inspection feel less convincing. You look away, then check the same corner again. In 2007, Sung-Shik Yu and Matthew Walker studied lost sleep. Their work took place at the University of California, Berkeley. Participants viewed increasingly unpleasant images after sleeping or staying awake overnight. Without sleep, An emotion-sensitive brain area responded much more strongly. Its connection with areas that help control emotional responses was also weaker. Lost sleep may therefore make emotional signals harder to manage. That does not guarantee you will feel watched, but it means the same weak clue can affect you differently. Darkness removes detail, while stress makes interruptions harder to ignore. Fatigue may then make your first answer feel less settled. Together, these conditions can lower the evidence needed for another check. Notice which version of the room feels familiar to you. The surroundings may be unchanged while your checking threshold has shifted. Yet researchers went further than changing light, stress, or sleep. They created a sensed presence without placing anyone behind the participant. No watcher entered, no shadow moved, no hidden person made a sound, yet researchers produced the feeling anyway, and in 2014, Olaf Blanke and colleagues tested this strange effect. The work happened at the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology in Lausanne. Each participant stood between two linked robotic devices. The participant moved a handle using one hand, and a second robot copied that movement against the participant's back. At first, the movement and touch happened together, and the touch matched what the participant had just done. Then the researchers added a brief delay, so the participant moved, but the touch arrived slightly later. That tiny mismatch changed the experience, and some healthy participants sensed a presence standing behind them. A few reported more than one invisible person nearby. Nobody had been added. The delayed touch created the conflict. Your brain normally joins movement, touch, and body position together. Matching signals produce one steady sense of where your body is. However, delayed touch no longer fits the movement that caused it. The sensation remains connected to you, yet it feels strangely separate. Your brain may assign that unexplained sensation to someone else. The presence then feels external, but the crucial mismatch begins inside your own body signals. This does not explain every experience of feeling watched. It reveals something more important about perception. A sensed presence does not always begin outside you. Your brain builds an explanation from signals, timing, and likely causes. When those pieces disagree, the explanation can resemble another person. An eerie presence can therefore feel real without proving someone is there. So how can clearer information dismantle that feeling? Return to the empty room from the beginning. The watched feeling points toward the doorway. You switch on the lamp and inspect the shape directly. The human outline separates into sleeves, a collar, and a coat hook. Then the click repeats inside the cooling pipe. Two clear details. Now challenge the earlier guess of another person. The feeling can loosen because that explanation has lost support. Notice what actually changed. The first sensation was real as an experience. Its suggested cause was never proven. You did not receive a complete picture and finally understand it. Instead, your perception tested a quick guess against clearer information. The room did not suddenly become empty. You finally received enough detail to revise what caused the warning. That correction happens through ordinary actions. You look directly, you listen again, you identify the source. The same clues now produce a different explanation, but the earlier feeling still revealed an important hidden process. Your brain does not wait for a complete answer. It combines incoming signals with quick guesses about their causes. That is why a warning can feel certain before its cause becomes clear. The feeling tells you that a warning fired. By itself, it cannot identify what triggered it. An isolated experience also does not establish a mental health condition. It means your brain formed one possible explanation from uncertain evidence. The turn that stopped you now means something different. Your brain was checking a possible presence before the evidence was complete. The feeling was real. Hidden company was not established. But waking perception still receives light, sound, touch, and body signals. What does your brain construct when sleep removes most of those clues? If weak waking clues can create a presence, how does sleep build an entire world and then erase it within seconds? Tap the dream video on screen. Subscribe to Where Why Begins.